Friends, we come together, all of us, in a state of shock. The news of Beth's passing still doesn't seem real to us. Each moment, each hour, each day we wake up and think that had to be a dream, that this can't be real. But with each passing hour, it sinks in, and we grieve, because a shining, beautiful, loving spirit who filled our lives with happiness, brightness, good times, caring words, capable partnership. All of this was lost in a tragic moment that makes no sense, that can't be explained or reasoned. Just, she was taken from us, and her life was cut off too soon. And so we are left rocked, bewildered, grieving. Each of us for our own loss and for our community, but also we are here for her family to express our condolences, our sorrow, and our love to her husband, Herbert, to her brother, Bruce, and his wife, Sunny, and Pete, and his wife, Margaret, to Herbert's son, David, who's known Bethlyn since teenage college years. We express our condolences. And to David's sons, Daniel and Michael, who've known her as a grandmother their whole lives. We're so sorry. And though they're not here with us, we express our condolences to her nephews, Daniel and Stuart. And truly, to all of her friends and Herb's friends who are here. Look, we're here for ourselves. We're here to support one another. You filled her life with so much happiness. Sarasota was her place, her town, her community, because of all of you. You made her life wonderful. In a moment before we begin our service, I just have a few words of announcement. First of all, there was such a long line getting in just before our hour to start that we had to take away the sign-in book. And that sign-in book is back there. It's in the lobby. So on your way out or before you head to the luncheon, if you haven't yet signed in, that's now available to you. We just couldn't delay another 20 minutes waiting for everyone. And also, I want to apologize because of some freak thing that happened. The main county water line that feeds our whole campus burst. And it was a slow leak yesterday and the day before. This morning it has burst, it's gushed, it's created a sinkhole under this whole side of our parking lot, which is why everyone, thank you for being so cooperative in your parking just now. We lost not only a third of our parking, but the county came and they have shut off our water. So we have no restrooms currently. We have ordered in portable restrooms that will be arriving in about an hour. And I'm really sorry for that inconvenience, but we will have drinking water and of course the full luncheon and lots of hand sanitizer in the interim. But that one more thing beyond our control. And another thing, one more disclaimer. Beth was not Jewish, and here we are in a synagogue and I'm a rabbi. But Beth, more than any house of worship, found a home here and attended regularly for 20 years at one point in her life. So as Herb says, this is as good a place as any because she didn't have another church or another place that she was more attached to. So it means that our service is not, for those of you who are Jewish and expecting a Jewish service in the synagogue, that's not what's happening. However, at the conclusion of our service, we will recite the Jewish prayer of the Mourner's Kaddish so that Herb can say Kaddish and we can stand with him in support to fulfill that mitzvah, that his obligation as a husband, as a Jew, to say that prayer. So we will have that component. We're going to begin with the 23rd Psalm. The words can be found in your program, and I invite you now, let us please recite together. The Lord is my shepherd. I'm going to recite now from Psalm 90. O God, you've been our refuge in every generation. Before the mountains came into being, before you brought forth the earth and the world, from eternity to eternity, you are God. You return us to dust. You decree, return, you mortals. For in your sight 1,000 years are as yesterday when it is past, as a watch in the night. You engulf us in sleep. We are like grass that renews itself. At daybreak it flourishes anew. At dusk it withers and dries up. The span of our life is 80 years and 10, or given strength 80 years, but the best of those years have trouble and sorrow. They pass by speedily, and we are in darkness. Teach us, therefore, so to number our days that we may attain a heart of wisdom. Turn to us, O God. Show mercy to your servants. Satisfy us at daybreak with your steadfast love, that we may sing for joy all our days. Let your deeds be seen by your servant, your glory by their children. May your favor, O God, be upon us. Establish the work of our hands, that it may long endure. want to recite a brief poem by the Hebrew poet Chaim Nachman Bialik, who speaks of himself in male language, but we can see how it likewise applies to Bethlyn. After my death, mourn me thus. There was a man, and see, he is no more. Before his time, his life was ended, and the song of his life was broken. Oh, he had one more melody, and now that melody is lost forever. Lost forever. I would like to share one more passage from our ancient tradition. And this comes from the book of Job. Job, in his sorrow, in his loss, cried out to God. And the words that he said echo still through every generation. He said most famously, Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach yehishem Adonai mivarah. The Lord has given, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. With that statement, we find a guide for us now. Because the Lord has taken is so clear to all of us, which is why our hearts ache and we grieve. And yet at the same time, we are grateful for what the Lord has given. We're here because we knew Bethlyn and had that blessing in our lives. And there are people driving around today, going about their day, who didn't know her. And that's their loss. We don't envy them. We're going to now share some words of remembrance, of memorial. I will speak first on behalf of her, and then members of the family, and then, if time permits, we will invite others in the community to share just a brief word to add, if you wish. Bethlyn was known to all of us as the most vibrant and glamorous woman in Sarasota, friendly, upbeat, and loved by everyone that she met at big gatherings, small gatherings, at work, in stores, in restaurants, in your home. She was loved and adored everywhere she went. Professionally, she was a model, a musician, a prolific writer, marketing and advertising. But her lasting legacy is and will forever be the Ear Research Foundation, which today is a Sarasota landmark, an institution. But it was not before Beth came. In fact, it was so fledgling as an idea that had not yet gotten off the ground, really, that when Herb was hiring and chose Beth to start, he told her, you can't start for another month because they didn't have the funds. They were still putting things together, and every day that month she called Herb and said, let's go, get me started. And with that gusto and entrepreneurial spirit and work ethic, she built that foundation, established it, grew it into such an extraordinary success that when she retired from it officially, some 10 years later, it literally took 5 people to fill her shoes, because the institute that, the foundation that was so little when she started now had grown so big under her leadership. And today, people come from all over the country, even all over the world, to find healing, to restore their hearing, to cure their dizziness that plagues them. They find salvation here through the foundation that she established with her. And what's more, they train doctors. ENTs come here to get their certification. I want to say it right. Otology. Did I say it right? Otology. To get certification in otology. And now, generation of these physicians have gone out into the world and are healing untold tens of thousands. But that was not her only passion in life. She loved music. Her expertise was in the hammer dulcimer, but she could play the violin or really pick up any string instrument and play. And she could play any kind of music, but she loved country. She had an extraordinary aptitude and zest for languages. Before she and Herb would travel to all over this world, she would take the time to study the language of the place they were going. And she grew proficient in French, in German, in Italian, so that when they would arrive at their destination, Herb would be amazed because she would speak with ease in French, in German, in Italian, wherever they were, just talking with the locals as if she were one of them and had spoke this language her whole life. She and Herb shared so many happy times together. He was the great love of her life. She came to Sarasota 40 years ago to get away from unpleasantness, to start anew. Here she found Herb, she found a career, she found love, she found home. She and Herb were partners in business together and everything in their life. She was so proud of him and everything he did, and every innovation, and everyone he helped. And they would travel to the medical conventions together. And there she was the star. Everyone said hi to her and then wanted to talk, of course, with Beth. She was encouraging of him with his late and light passion for music and jazz, and would welcome in jazz musicians into their home and host them and entertain them, and filled his life with music. And she was good to his boys, to Gary and to David. And her grandchildren through David. She and Herb had a wonderful life together. And it ended too soon. We wish for her, we wish for you, Herb, that you had more years. And now we're going to hear from the person that Beth has known longer than anyone in life, her twin brother.
Thanks to everybody for coming. I'm sure a few of you are probably pretty sad, and everybody's got that right to grieve in their way. It's a challenging time for everybody. Everybody's got their different lengths of time they've known her, different experiences that they've had with her, and it's a good time to share that and remember that. I could, of course, share a few things myself. I think I've known her longer. In fact, before we were born, the doctor didn't even know that we were twins, that we were in there together. He gave birth to me and said, "Oh my gosh, there's another heartbeat." Because I was wrapped around her and all I could hear was one heartbeat. And that's how it's been ever since. Of course, as a twin, and a few of you I think are twins, and it's been an honor to meet you and to share a couple brief moments about twinship. But we had a unique communication that we've always had, not just in words, not just in now modern day texts and emails, but we talked all the time. Beth, interestingly enough, when we were teenagers, she had a best friend, lived around the corner, and her name was Sunny. And Sunny ended up becoming my wife, and so kind of holds that bond a little bit tighter. Of course, music, as he said, was a huge part of her life, an enormous part of her life. We played music together before in elementary school. She played the guitar. She took lessons. I played the accordion. I took lessons. And the music instructor told Beth, "I can't teach you anymore. I'll have to turn you over to somebody a little bit bigger, a little bit better. And he turned to me and said, "So were you playing that music by ear? Because I don't think you were reading a single note that was on that paper." And I said, "Yeah, I can't read music." And he said, I don't think I can teach you anymore." Nobody else knows that story until now. But we could walk into any restaurant in Sarasota, in Aspen, wherever we've been together, and it seems like she would just be able to talk to in any language that was presented there at the door. I don't care if it was Korean, Pakistani. She always knew something to be able to walk in and be greeted and shown to the best table. She was ingenious about that. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I talk mostly horse. I taught her how to ride horses way back a long time ago, and then she even took that to the next level, and even became a massage therapist for horses. So she was good at everything. She had quite a Midas touch. And she could light up a dark room, even without a candle. So I'd say just go out and share that light with everybody you know. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Bruce. And now we'd like to please call up Herb's son, David.
Well, wow. Thank you, everyone, for coming for Beth. I think it goes without saying that she would be there for you. This is a very, very hard thing. So I will try my best. Beth, preaching to the choir, I know, but Beth is just a tremendous, nice, and caring person. She's always super nice to me and supportive of me all throughout, ever since I've known her. She's my friend. When I first met Beth, we connected over music, and she loved all types of music. She shared her record collection with me, and let me have at it. As far as her records, she loved blues, jazz, folk, everything, classic rock. Classical, new age, reggae. She always had music on. You've already heard about her instruments. I mean, it's just amazing. She has a room that is just full of string instruments. I mean, a huge harp, mandolin, banjo, dulcimer, guitar. I mean, you pick the instrument and she could play it, and not only could she play it, she wasn't just picking at it, she could really play. I mean, it was amazing. Beth loved all kinds of books and poetry. She was always reading a book. She always had a book open. And the thing is with Beth is that they were not your standard types of books, you know, like the popular books that people read. She read like cool books. She read books about nature, poetry, different cultures, different lifestyles, and traveling. She was also an excellent writer. I remember whenever I needed something proofread, you go to Beth, and she would do a number on it. You know, red pen is good under certain circumstances. So she always helped my dad anytime he needed to write anything. I mean, basically, I don't want to discount my dad because he's fantastic, but anything in writing, it's Beth. Sorry. So Beth loved art, and she loved design. I mean, you walk into any place, any of her house, I mean, it's like walking into a museum. And like everywhere is just works of art and sculptures, and I mean, it's just amazing. And it really shows how much of her personality is where she lived. You've already heard about her love of languages, and ever since I met Beth, she was always learning. I mean, one of the books that she always had open was learning a new language. I mean, it could have been like Czechoslovakian, and she had a book open, trying to learn it. Whenever she met someone that was from a different country, she spoke to them in their language, and it really opened up a communication avenue and a bond with people immediately. People were, I mean, I would watch it, and people were just amazed. They were just amazed that here's someone from a different country speaking in their language. It was just incredible. When she would talk to me, or the kids, or anybody, I mean, you all know, she would throw in some words from different languages, and you could figure it out. But she was also, it was like she was multilingual. She would speak in different language, just as in her general speech. It's amazing. Beth was, as you know, tremendously outgoing. She always had a smile on her face. She loved to laugh. I loved her laughing. I would show, you know, especially when you started getting videos over the phone. But yes, back in the VHS tape days too. Yes, I would show her, you know, something funny like from Saturday Night Live, or a funny scene from a movie or a TV show, and she would just, you know, we'd just be cracking up. She loved her friends, and you, her friends, she loved all of you. I've never met anyone where literally everyone that she met was a friend. When she went anywhere, it was like when I was a kid. There was a commercial on. I don't know. Some of you that are my age may remember it. But there was a commercial that they used to show on the TV all the time, and it was Aldo Cella. And I never forget it, if you remember. It was this guy, and he was in Italy, and he walked down the street, and everyone was just yelling his name, Aldo, Aldo. People would, women would hang out of the window, Aldo, everywhere when he walked by. That's how it was with Beth. It was unbelievable. Anywhere she went, it was just like that. Someone knew her. She knew someone. And immediately, people running out. Oh my God, there's Beth. She was friendly with everyone and gave everyone her attention. One thing about this is that I know that she doesn't want to be the focus of attention. But she always was. Too bad, Beth. You always were. Beth always looked immaculate. I mean, she looked like a movie star. It always looked, the way she carried herself and the way she was dressed, it looked like she just walked off the red carpet. Beth loved nature and animals. She loved to kayak. She loved to hike. She loved to go snowshoeing. Straight up a mountain. It's her favorite thing. She loved to ski. She loved to ride horses and take care of them. But most of all, she loved her furry children. She just loved them. Her dogs, Duchess, Zorro, and Aspen Rose. They were part of her. They were her babies. And it was funny. I mean, they all went crazy when she was around. I mean, they went nuts over her. When she left the room, they were sad, sullen, looking for her. I mean, it was like an experiment or something. They would, and then she would walk in the room, and then they would jump around and be happy again. It was just amazing. She was like Dr. Doolittle, if you remember Dr. She could talk to, she had this connection with animals that is, like Dr. Doolittle. She could talk to the animals. Whenever she saw, whether it was a dog or a cat on the street, she would excitedly run up to it. I mean, it didn't matter where she was. If she saw a dog or a cat, boom. She would approach it, and she would instantly form a bond with this animal. It was just unbelievable. I have a lot of fond memories of our family gatherings. Beth was an excellent cook. She always accommodated and supported my strange vegan diet. I always look at, when I heard Beth was cooking, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I mean, when I think of food from Beth, I feel full, just saying, just being here. I don't know how, but I don't know how she did it, because the whole time she was cooking, she's talking nonstop to my wife. And then she pops out with 5 vegan dishes just for me that were like gourmet. She loved her family. She spoke about her brothers all the time, Bruce and Pete, her nephews, Daniel and Stuart. She loved my sons, Daniel and Michael. And they adored her. I'm very, very thankful that they had a chance to know her and enjoy being with her. I can remember when she was so excited to be a grandma. She bought us a beautiful crib and changing table for Daniel. Beth was not like a mother-in-law, that critical mother-in-law. She became friends with my wife. I mean, she's just amazing. Beth was a loyal daughter. She spent years, like 4 or 5 years, every single weekend driving to Orlando to take care of her mother. And and she was real supportive of me when I had to deal with kind of the same thing. But it really shows her dedication to her family. Now the hardest. So if I'm done, I'm done. So I'm sorry. Beth took excellent care of my dad. She loved and supported him for 39 years. All my dad's accomplishments were her accomplishments. They did everything together. They traveled all over the world. She was my dad's rock. I can't thank her enough for taking care of my dad and making him so happy. I'm so sad that Beth is no longer physically with us. But she made such a positive impact on me and many others. She truly left her mark. Her spirit will always be with me and with all of us because she has become a part of us. I can't thank her enough for everything that she has done for me. So, I made it. So I found a book of poems. It's uncanny. I found out I was going to do this not too long ago, and instantly when I knew I was going to be here talking to y'all, I went right to her room and went looking for books because I know that she had a lot of poems. And miraculously, I found a book that was open on her desk from her grandmother, a collection of poems from her grandmother. So I'm going to read one that I found that I thought that Beth would like. So her grandmother is Dorothy Burnham Eaton, and in 1935 she wrote this poem called Knapsack. Our knapsack was heavy, but morning is strong, and feet can step lightly, though travel be long. So all up the mountain, the joy of the day, help carry our knapsack, and labor seem play. There was room enough, over, beneath. We worlds to look down on, the whole sky to breathe. And soft on the hilltops, the silvery sheen of mist in the sun veiled the purple and green. We were one with the clouds. Then the sunshine set, a rainbow that wrapped us in wonderment. And breathless, we dealt in its Dresden fold to discover a treasure more real than gold. From the foot of the rainbow, we carried a prize in our beauty-rich hearts and remembering eyes, though weary the way through the gold-filtered gloam, our knapsack of memories carried us home. Thought that was appropriate, and we will all carry Beth in our memories.
Thank you, David, for the beautiful tribute and also for finding her grandmother's poem. Friends, each our own remembrances we're going to share around the lunch table afterwards, and post and in notes to Herbert or to Bruce, and keep sharing in the days and months ahead. But for now, we want to say a prayer, and I would like to ask everyone to please rise. Dear God, we mourners stand before you as a congregation and beseech you to please receive with love the spirit of our beloved Beth. God, open up the gates of the vaults of your high heavens, and in love and in grace and in mercy, receive her soul and keep her with you in your light, in your radiance, from now and for all eternity. And let us say, Amen. Please remain standing as we take a moment of silence, recognizing that each of us come from our own faith traditions, our own customs and culture. In this moment of silence, let us each now offer our own prayers. May our prayers be heard in the highest heights. And may God watch over each of us, give us strength, bring us comfort. All who mourn here today in Sarasota, all who are attending on the live stream, wherever there is pain, God, please heal their hurt. And now, friends, we return back to our program, and there we find the mourner's cottage. It is a custom of Jews that we recite this prayer when we lose a loved one. And we stand together with Herbert and with David now. And we say this prayer not only in memory of Bethlyn, but also for Gary, as we're still in the year-long period of mourning. Together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah v'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agalal v'zman kari v'meru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach leolam omei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram v'alma v'meru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. And may the source of peace and peace to those who mourn, and comfort to those who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. Friends, this concludes our service here in the sanctuary. We invite you to join us. Services here on Friday night at 7:15, where the whole congregation will be saying Kaddish. For Beth, we'll be calling her name this Friday and for the month ahead. And we hope you will join us for a luncheon. Some of Beth's neighbors and friends have come together, and I wish I knew everyone's name to thank you personally. Everyone who prepared food, who gathered food from restaurants throughout Hillview that she frequented and loved, and to those restaurants, some who even donated food because they loved her so much. So we just wanted to say thank everyone who helped and prepare this meal. We are going to, first the family and I are going to come down and we're going to head into the social hall. We thank you for keeping your mask on here in the sanctuary. Of course, the mask can come off in the social hall or as you go on your way. And I'm going to bring the book for anyone who didn't get a chance to sign in. That will be in the social hall as well. There will also be, in a few minutes, a slideshow, just about 3 or 4 minutes of pictures that I think everyone will very much enjoy. I got to see the preview. And so do stay for that as well. Okay, thank you. And one last. The portable restrooms have arrived, and I in fact see them right there. So there's at least 2 right there. If you would like something a little more civilized, 2 blocks down, the Jewish Federation has opened up their doors to our gathering, and there you will have running water and air-conditioned bathrooms. It's 2 short blocks down the road at the Jewish Federation as well. And with that, let us, the family, go first.